Hi everyone, kia ora from New Zealand. I'm Sharon Gibson and I'm here tonight with my friends Moana Brown in New Zealand, Michelle Edhouse, and we're going to be chatting with the beautiful Kass Thomas in Italy.
Hello,
Yay.
darlings.
Hello.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. So Michelle, Moana and myself will be hosting the lovely Kass Thomas, who is coming to New Zealand. How do we get so lucky? In September. And tonight we just wanted to chat with you, Kass, a little bit about the specialty class that you are presenting here called Tales of the Golden Planet.
Absolutely. You know, something, when you said that the three of us are hosting Kass, something made me want to cry about it. Something, tears, just because I know you all for several years, more than several, and in different settings, and it feels a bit like coming home. That's so cool. Thank you for coming together to provide such a warm, cushy space for me to come and do my first classes in New Zealand. I'm excited and honored. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we actually met, Kass, you and I, back in 2005, I believe, when I was attending my first level 2 and 3 in Australia. Back a few years now.
Wow. How's it get any better than that? Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
So, honey, we just wanted to ask you a question like Tales of the Golden Planet. Why have you as a facilitator chosen to create this class as a specialty class? And what about this class makes it so popular?
Yeah, they're great questions. I'm not, the why I usually get much later, right? What is that? One of the questions I'm always asking is, what invitation can I be for people to recognize their brilliance and their genius, right? And it's one of the things I love about facilitating access classes, that aha moment when you see that sort of opaque, veiled look turn into the bright awareness or reawakening, or whatever you want to call it, of people recognizing that. And for me, so that's one of the things I love about facilitating. And this class, Tales from the Golden Planet, is one of the tools that I love to use to bring that to the forefront even faster. It's amazing to me. It's a class with no prerequisites. And it's amazing to me how when you skip over the prerequisite part, how quickly people access what they know, and go beyond that and what's next. Okay, we've reclaimed our infinite perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving. Now what? We're ready for action. You know how humanoids are. Oh, I've got this pain. Oh, I've got this problem. Oh, I've got this. Hey, you're needed. What? Here I am. What's required? It's like, well, wait a minute. Didn't you have that pain? Didn't you have that thing? Oh, forget about that. Magic to be done? Where? Let's go. So it's a bit like that. It's like a call. It's not even a call to action, because action is about doing. It's just a call, And so I adore the class for that. We do one of the things I loved when I started Access, and probably you too, in the foundation manual, which included the bars and and lots of stuff. There was the story of the Golden Planet, and it was everyone's nodding. You guys are nodding. Mona's like, and it just struck something in me. It's so brilliant. It starts off with once upon a time, and is it a story? That's not the relevant part. It's a really great story to get us to recognize all the different ways that we give up ourselves, us, not ourselves, us, and what we know and what we perceive and what we be, who we are. um, and what we receive. So Gary with the story is absolutely brilliant and clearing some of the places where we limit ourselves. And so we start the class, the Tales from the Golden Planet, with the story of the Tales of the Golden Planet, and clear a lot of that relatively quickly, and then move into what can we create when we know who we be, perceive what we perceive, receive what we receive, and know what we know. So, and people have so much fun with it, and there's so many potent people out there ready and willing, and now is truly the time. So what is it that encouraged me to do it is it's something about the future that I got, that let's plant the seeds, because we are eating now, and in the future we will also need to eat. So let's plant the seeds now. And so things are sprouting, and perhaps that's why it's popular. Is it popular? Thank you for telling me that. I mean, people show up all the time, but yeah.
Yeah, it is actually, one of the things I've read about it is that it is a very popular class, and from what I've seen from people attending it online, it's been a real hit. So it's got a great energy on it, and I know that we were excited to be able to invite you here and invite this class to New Zealand too. So just listening to you talk about what's possible is it's starting to open up that invitation to something greater. So
it's funny because during the class there's a moment that we create together silently, everyone doing their contribution, and everyone gets it. A lot of times in the beginning when I started doing access classes, I think all facilitators go through this. You don't want to talk, you don't want to be too weird, right? So, you sort of sugarcoat stuff, and you sort of put it in language that is like a little bit, wishy-washy, and and this is not that kind of class. And everyone's like, okay, yeah. It's like, well, you don't want me to explain that? No. Good. Let's go. Everyone is in the driver's seat when they show up to this class. So it is a call. And I've had a woman from Canada. She's married to an Austrian guy, and they came to the class, and he had never done any access classes, and she was a CF, and he had never done any, and it was his first class, and he was just brilliant. It was a perfect first class for him, because he wasn't interested in baby steps, So how many of us are with partners or have friends who maybe don't even adhere to, they don't want to go through the sort of classes, and yet they know something, and they connect to that. They're always around us. They want that energy. They desire that energy. They need that energy, because this reality doesn't present it. So this is a great class to, sort of, I throw someone in the deep end and say, oh, you swim. That's cool. And then they say, not only do I swim, I fly. And so, wow, well, let's fly. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. So I'm just also just picking up on tones of maybe the conversation is quite large about creation. Is that so? Yeah.
And a while back, Gary Douglas, everyone should, founder of Access Consciousness, and Dane here, we started with destroying and uncreating stuff. So getting rid of what wasn't working. There was a moment at which the space opened up. It's so not linear, right? So every clearing, every verbal process, every clearing that we do with Access, we're contributing to the space that is available for consciousness in this reality, right? 350,000 people with every clearing that we do. So it's not linear. And there was a moment I remember when it was like, it's now time for creation. We've destroyed and uncreated, and we will continue destroying and uncreate whatever comes up, whatever shows up, whatever is limiting us. And we are starting with creation. That space is available. And we all perceive that. right? This class is about creation. It's I do an evening taster for it, but it's a 1-day class, and everyone's like, if we want a 2-day class, we want a 2-day class. And it's a bit, and we'll see what happens with that, but it's a bit like, now what, right? Now what? Where do we go from here? Because like I said before, when all we're talking about is limitation, then we get limitations better. We can do limitation better than anyone else because we're so flexible, right? Look at the space of infinite Zen that I am, and look how little I can be as well, right? I always say, look at my infinite flexibility. And humanoids, when you start talking about creation beyond this reality and creating something creating the space that gives us access to the reality. Dane's talking a lot about the reality now, right? Which is not just this reality, it's the reality. We're consciousness. That's who we are. That's what we are. That's who we be. So when we recognize that, what is possible? What do we know is truly possible for this planet, on this planet, and beyond, that we can activate, be the catalyst for, and have fun playing with. And so playing with those energies of creation is something I'd like to invite people to in this class. Is this making any sense at all?
It is.
Great.
And you know what, Kass?
Just checking.
You know what? When I had the great honor to listen to the recording of one of your Golden Planet classes, at that point I'd read Gary's Magic You Are at Be It book, and obviously done a lot more classes as well. And yet, listening to the recordings of the class, what it created for me was that space where magic stepped out of being Harry Potter to being so much greater, to being something that I could be. And I actually started to choose to be more and more after listening to that class. And but it stopped being, that whole witch's brew and Harry Potter waving a magic wand. It actually took it into just so big. I can't even put words to it. And so I'm super, super grateful and so excited that you're coming to New Zealand with this class, because I just adored the listening to it, and to actually get to be there with you and see what magic we can create. I'm just so excited.
Awesome. And thank you for that. And no class is the same. I mean, you probably know that you guys are all facilitating classes. I used to think I could prepare for a class. When I did my foundation, I was like, I knew the manual, but I would read it backwards and upside down and in boron and different languages and stuff. And you can never prepare. And then the people that show up were asking for something totally different. This class is absolutely that way. I think to myself, well, 8 hours, some kind of preparation should be done. And this reality says that, right? And I get there, and it just, the people are demanding something. Their energy is demanding something. They've got a clarity of what's sticking them, even if it's not cognitive or articulatable, right? Thankfully, I get the energy of that, and we clear it, and we go. Sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 2 hours. We're playing, and sometimes it's rocket boots, and it's like, oh, all right, 45 minutes in, we're ready to go. Let's go. So it's different every time, and it's always gorgeous, and it's always such a contribution to me and my body, and the space in my head. And beyond. That one molecule goes ding,
Yes.
ding, ding,
I
poof.
was going to say, what's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And we're really excited to be hosting you in the beautiful Bay of Plenty in New Zealand for this class, Kass, alongside obviously the 3-day body class. And it's a class too that has really is close to my heart. When I remember reading it when it was in the foundation manual as well, and the peace and the ease that it created with me and my body, it was just, every time I read it, it's just fantastic. And it made, when you just know stuff, you knew that there was something to be, life was meant to be greater than what was actually showing up, or that magic does exist. But how come it's not showing up in the amount that you know is available? And so I'm really excited about this class and the magic that you will be bringing to Mount Maunganui and Tauranga and the beautiful Bay of Plenty, and just really would like to invite people to tap into the energy of what we're creating here, and to invite you to come and play in this beautiful space. It's called the Bay of Plenty for a reason. It's full of magical energies here, and healing energies, and stunning white sandy beaches, and sun most of the year around. So if you would like to come and play with us, I know I'm going to be here, and my friends are going to be here, and Kass is going to be here. Come on down under to New Zealand and come and play with us.
September. September, kid. The land itself is already so. In Italian, you say predisposto, no? Which means it's already ready. It's already available. It lends itself. I always talk about with magic. A lot of people are sitting around waiting for magic to happen. It's like, show up at the door. Put a sign outside the door. Magic welcome you. You know what I mean? Open the door and be there. With tea and cookies, or with something salty, depending on what flavor magic is showing up in with today, So, and the land in New Zealand does that. You've got some really special beings that choose to be born there and have chosen to be born there. And one of the first things, I think you taught me that, Moana, about the town meetings that the Maoris have, and they invite the ancestors and leave seats up for. I mean, that's just so amazing.
Yeah.
Available for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And the energies of the mountains will show up, and the energies of all the trees and the ocean and everything else will show up, including the ancestors. I'm sure they'll want to be part of it as well. And the contribution of that energy.
Absolutely.
What else can that facilitate for us?
Well, it's so great because when you're when it's a place that doesn't have the point of view about it, that it is not an integral part of life, that is such a contribution to the bodies as well. And it just relaxes the molecules without you ever having to do anything. They're just not in tension, So that's fun. So I'm really looking forward to it, and we'll do a money class too, an evening class. We'll do some tasters, just so I'd love to see people, touch people, and what contribution can I too be to this great land. It's been calling for a while, so thank you again for being the invitation, you three.
You're
Just
welcome.
don't make me teary. I put on a little eye makeup, so I don't want to tear up on the video. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah. We're excited about what might be possible for New Zealand, not being exclusive, but including New Zealand in your global tour.
Yeah. So
great.
excited. I'm just taking a picture of you guys, sorry, because you're so gorgeous. Okay. Yeah, and what would it take to invite the world on the other side of the world? So come September, New Zealand, be there.
Yeah.
And we'll do we'll live stream also, right? We'll be, so the class will be available online. So just in case you don't like really lovely land and beautiful girls and guys and sandy beaches and that kind of thing, it's just like and good wine and nice vibrations up close and personal, you can always do it online. I'm bad, right?
bad girl. Awesome. So yeah, surfing, climbing mountains, kayaking, fishing off a kayak. What else?
Gorgeous mussels.
Gorgeous New Zealand coffee.
Beautiful seafood down
Honey
here as well.
wine.
Yeah, wonderful cuisine. And you know, if you are looking to do the Down Under tour and then go on to the advanced body class, which is the week after, when Kass is going to be visiting us, and then we welcome you,
Yeah.
and particularly our friendly neighbours, the Australians, as well, to come and play with us Kiwis down here. The little lambs will be, it'll be spring, so lambs will be being born. There'll be lots of sheep and
Cool.
other wonderful things to play with.
Awesome. Fun. And yeah, so we'll get some things together for people, because I know there's lots of there's like ceremonies and music and stuff like that where people can participate and enjoy the culture. So how's it get any better? And what fun could you have with us? Cool.
Exactly. Looking forward to seeing you all soon.
Me too.
So thanks, Kass.
Thanks
Everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kass.
Bye.
Moana and Michelle. Bye-bye.